says in all things we should give God thanks and praise. So the fact that my weekend is not a relaxing weekend doesn't mean I shouldn't thank God. Anyway, guys, happy Friday. Trust you all are well and good. Anyway, I had an early start today. And because I've been resting, I have had several weeks of rest with doing nothing, just chillaxing. My body is kind of finding it difficult to adjust to early mornings. So do bear with me. I am tired. I'm supposed to be having a nap now, which I am going to do right after this video. But I am definitely going to have a nap, you know. So you guys can see that I am not at home. I am not at home. I am away somewhere doing some work. And this is where this is where I am hiding out. This is my hideout, guys. This is my hideout. So it's always a working holiday for me, isn't it? It's always a working holiday. But let me give you guys a tour. One problem I have with hotels, UK hotels, is that it is more antique. The designs are always kind of vintage style, that kind of vintage style hotels. So, yeah, this is where I am hiding at. And this is supposed to be a single room. This is supposed to be a single room. It's supposed to be a single room. So it is decent. It is nice. It is cool. It's okay. But hey. It's all well and good. Anyway, all well and good. So this is where I am chilling out for the next 3 days, or over the weekend, and then I'm back home again. But hey, first things first. I promised I was going to do a video. I am dedicating these next few days and weeks into doing a lot of content regarding the UK lifestyle. The UK lifestyle and traveling, because I keep getting right. Oh dear. Why am I coughing? So, guys, you guys can see that I'm lying on the bed because I'm getting myself ready to have a nap. But hey, let's talk. So, today, let me just do this very quick. Yesterday, I did a video in the morning talking about how simple visa application is, provided your application is genuine or your reason for traveling is genuine. Then you don't need to pay anyone to process your application for you. Yeah. You don't need to pay anyone to process your application for you. But today, let's talk about very important things as soon as you arrive in the UK. So a few months ago, I met someone that I was chatting with who hasn't been in the country for so long. So the person came as a student and they applied for their spouse to join them, or they were going to put in an application for their spouse to join them. And then accommodation wise, the person fortunately, she found someone who agreed to let a bedroom in her home. So it was more like renting a room, which meant that they had no tenancy agreement. Hi, Brother Shegun. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. So this person had no tenancy agreement because they are renting from someone else, and things like that are normally cheaper, and it saves you money, but at the end of the day, it is more like if you've just been in the country newly, you will not benefit much from such a rental, because one of the things that you are normally required, to have in this country, in the UK, is something we call proof of address. You need that to apply for so many things. You need that to fill forms. You need that to do, a whole lot. So the proof of address is simply prove that the address or the house in which you have, the address you have written down as your home is correct. Prove that you actually live in that address. So things that are considered proof of address. We are talking about confidential documents that you wouldn't want to get lost in the post. So when they say proof of address, that is where your mind should go that way. Which address would you want important letters? And when I talk of important letters and correspondence, where would you want your pay slip? Where would you want your workplace to, correspond, send you correspondence? Where would you want the hospital to send your sensitive information? Where would you want the bank to send your sensitive information? So you even need this proof of address to apply for a bank account. So therefore, your tenancy agreement will normally have your name, and it's a legal document. It's a legal document, this tenancy agreement, because it's a contract that you are entering with your landlord. So if you are renting a full house, it is the first thing that can stand as your tenancy agreement when you arrive in the UK newly. But in the instance where a lot of you find yourselves renting from other people, definitely those people cannot give you a contract. They cannot give you a tenancy. You are just living in there and you are paying rent to them. So sometimes it is quite hard. The best thing someone can do, or in such an arrangement, the best thing your landlord can do is to add your name or to change the bills. So say your light bill, your gas bill, your water bill, something like that. If they call the company and then they put your name, they change the name of the responsible person to your name, then you can use that as your proof of address to get a bank account and other things. Now, interesting enough, in Ireland, it is a little bit, not a little bit, um, well, it depends. It depends. Because in Ireland, there are very few documents that will be acceptable as proof of address. There are. One of them is an original bank statement from your bank. And we all know that these days everything has gone online. So you don't get paper copies of your bank statement. Now, in Ireland, they wouldn't accept, even, if you go into the bank and you print from the machine, they wouldn't accept that as a proof of address. They want an original statement that you have requested from the bank and the bank has posted to you. That is what, but in the UK, it's a bit relaxed because those that are coming into the system as students, you can use your admission letter. That is if it's still in date. And normally, any document that you have to submit as a proof of address should be valid within, the date on it should be within 3 months. So you can use your what's the name, your admission letter if the date is still within 3 months. You can also request for your school to give you a letter. So basically, the school will type a letter to say that you are a student there and you live at this address, and that can serve as a proof of address. That's in the UK. What else? Your workplace, if you have confirmed your address with your employer, they should also be able to give you a letter to say you work there and you live at this address, So that letter can serve as a proof of address. But in Ireland, things like that are not acceptable as proofs of address, But one thing that a lot of people forget, one thing most people forget to do, if you come to the UK newly, the best thing you can do for yourself is to apply for a provisional driver's license. It is the best proof of address. It is the best and stressless proof of address that you can easily get. Yeah. So getting a provisional driver's license, obviously you'll be required to, send your passport and stuff like that. But that is one of the best proof of address you can use or you can have. And one thing that I had to mention to this lady, because this lady needed to provide all these documents to the spouse in Africa to apply for a spouse's visa. Now, the person was asking me to help them. And you guys know that things like that, I don't like helping. Well, not that I don't like helping, but, I don't do shady stuff. That is why when a lot of you contact me saying you want to travel abroad, I'm like, look, I can direct you, I can guide you, I can, suggest places and people that you can contact for agencies and people that you can contact for assistance. But all I can do is offer you my piece of advice. I wouldn't do anything that will put me in a difficult position. That is me. So I asked her, you've been in the country for a while. Have you applied for a provisional driver's license? They said no. And I'm like, why? Because that is the number one proof of address that you could have. And one mistake a lot of people do is they use different addresses. Now, you need to stop that. You need to stop using different addresses for your documentation. That is why these proof of address of stuff are very important. You need to have just one address where everything, all your important documents. So you cannot have a provisional driver. In fact, it's even a crime. It's even against the law to have your driver's license registered at an address that you don't live in. So let's say I live in house A, and then the next day I move to house B, and I've been in house B or I know that house B is going to be my permanent address. By law, I need to change my provisional driver's license as soon as possible. I need to change it to the new address, because if I'm driving and I get caught, if I'm driving and I get caught and they find out that I haven't changed my address on my driver's license, I could be found up to £1,000. Yeah, you could be found. I could be fined up to £1,000 for not changing my address. Because if you're driving and you commit a crime, they need to be able to reach you. For instance, these speed tickets and stuff. If they send you a speed ticket and you don't respond, sometimes speeding ticket, if it's your first offense, you have the opportunity of doing a hazard and perception course. A driving course, which is more like a new driver's course. It's a revision of all the things that you did to pass your test. So you do that test. You either opt to do that test and pay some amount of money, and then you don't get points. That's if it's your offense. But after you've done that test, you are not supposed to offend. Let me put it that way. You are not supposed to do anything that will get you on the wrong side of the law as per driving for the next 3 years, because that is your chance. But if you don't pay that fine and you don't do that course, you get 3 points on your license. And if you commit another driving offense again, you get another 3 points. If your points accumulate up to 12 points, I think, is it 12 points or so? No, up to a certain number, you lose your license. You go to court, or they take your license away from you. Yeah, so these things are very important. That is why you need to have the correct address on your driver's license, and also your car needs to be registered to the correct address, because obviously a speeding ticket, when the camera catches your car number, a letter has to be sent to your address to say your car, to the address that the car is registered at. And if you don't live in that address and the letter goes there and you don't get it in time, then you are done for. So proofs of address, as I said, it doesn't matter. If you don't know how to drive, just go get that provisional driver's license, so that at least when you're ready to start learning how to drive, it comes in handy, you see. So that is my best bet for you guys. And I'm sure the bank will accept accept a driver's license as a proof of address. And in fact, apart from a proof of address, it's also a proof of your identity. You can use that as an ID card, your driver's license. Because not everyone living in an address can be on your water bill or your light bill, or your utility bills. Those utility bills are normally what a lot of companies would ask you to provide, and there has to be only one person's name on those bills. That's why sometimes it's a bit difficult. So let this be, a big, lesson for you guys. Proof of address, not difficult to get. And also make sure all your information, all your letters and your important documents are sent to one address. Why did I say that? Now, this girl is going to invite the spouse. If you make the application, and on your application letter, you put a different address there as your accommodation. And then on your bank statement, there's a different address. On your, what else can you, on your school letter or your employer's letter, there's a different address as your address. The visa office are just going to look at you and say your application is like it's dodgy, and therefore they are not even going to even look at it twice. That is an automatic refusal. That is why you need to make sure everything corresponds. And I'll keep saying this, guys, learn to do things honestly, genuinely, and sincerely. Stop all these shady lives. It doesn't help. It does not help in any way at all. It doesn't help in any way at all. Live that lifestyle that you are used to in Africa. When you come here, things are different. Things that did not even matter out there really matters here. Just like that proof of address I'm talking about. In Africa, no one cares where you live. No one would even ask for your address. But here, it is important. They need to know where you live. Your workplace will need to know where you live. Your doctor will need to know where you live. Everyone around you will need to know where you live. So learn to, sort yourselves out properly. So as I said, and I've also just given you one important tip about the sort of documents or how you submit documents in visa applications. Make sure every single address, don't put different addresses. Your bank statement, different address, your workplace or your pay slip has a different address. Your application has a different address. The only time in which you can put two different addresses, let's say, for instance, if you're applying for a visa for your spouse, and since you are on your own at that instance, you are living in an accommodation that has, in a small size accommodation, let's put it that way. So I'm renting someone's room. But since I know that my spouse is coming to join me, and I am proving to the embassy that I've got enough resources to support the person, that is, I've got a decent accommodation and a good size accommodation where both of us can live, then I will start looking for a new place. So I'll go to an estate agent and I will get a new accommodation. I can sign the contract, even if the tenancy is supposed to start maybe in a month later, because you can have that arrangement. So they will give you a tenancy which says that from what month are we in? March. So from end of April or end of March, I'll be living at a different address in a bigger house. So with that one, you have a genuine reason as to why your bank statement has a different address, and your address, your accommodation address, or your residence address is different, because you are trying to plan ahead. You are trying to put the new address whereby maybe if the application hadn't yet been processed, and it's going to take time to process, and let's say it takes about 6 weeks to process, it means that by the time the application is processed, you'll be living in the new address. Thank you. You'll be living in a new address, so at that time, you have a genuine enough reason as to why you have two different addresses, stated on an application. See, so Simple as. Anyway, guys, I need to go to sleep. I need to have a nap. Eh? I need to have a nap because I've got some work to do in an hour's time. So I don't want to waste all my time chatting, yabbing away. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Let me enjoy this my bed small. Sometimes it's good to be away from home. It is good to be away from home. And since you guys know, look, this place is free. I'm not paying for this. It comes with a job. So I've told you guys, plan your life properly so that you can be enjoying things like that while working and not to be killing yourselves and stressing yourselves, with jobs that anyway. Right, so thank you all for your time. Best wishes for a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend, and I will catch you guys later. Ciao. Arrivederci. Bye, guys. Bye, 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 guys.